Some of you guys think they should lie on their resume. I'm already starting to distrust them and the rest of my audience as a result. Way for poisoning everybody else and bringing everybody down with you. I think you should just unsub, frankly. Make sure that you get 2 other subscribers to subscribe in your wake, though. You won't be missed. Now, here's my advice to you. You shut up and listen. Press the like button. Give me more questions. I don't think it's worth it. I understand the temptation to do it. I probably would have even endorsed it a few months ago even. But I started listening a lot to Sam Harris's thoughts on lying, and then I started listening to Jordan Peterson's thoughts on lying, and then I just started remembering all the relationship advice that I learned over the years from those books. And it is as follows. It's probably a good idea in every scenario to be truthful. So, it's fucking channel. Always remember. But sort of the science behind it, or I guess the philosophy behind it, or whatever. Look, whatever word fits. You figure out what I'm trying to say. I think that the reason that you want to be telling the truth as much as possible is because it starts losing track on you personally. So it's not worth the benefit, the short-term benefit that you get from lying in most instances. So when you lie on your resume, first off, just know 95% of job applications, they already know what they're going to fill it with. They just kind of legally have to do it. Sorry. But the other thing is that when it comes to resumes, look, I think that the whole process is, unless you're going for like low tier shit like Coles or Target. Sorry to everybody who works there. Go on. Hey, I worked there for once, and then after a while I thought, this is shit, and then left. There's probably someone there who goes, I've been here for 15 years. I think it's pretty cool. And now I'm laughing at your life. But, yeah, so, when you do that, permitting that you get the job on your resume, what is going to happen? You know that there is going to be an awkward shuffle moment where they will catch you out, unintentionally as well, where they'll just go, I can't believe that you used to Sherpa for the Dalai Lama. And they go, Sherpa? Oh, yeah, that was great in the Congo. The Congo? You mean Nepal, right? Yeah, sure, that African nation. It's in Asia. I knew that. They'll cut you out. Maybe they'll catch you out, maybe they won't. But let's assume that they hire you on the fact that you have embellished on your resume. What's going to happen then? You are going to get caught out because you will not be able to be producing the results that they're expecting. I understand that you will hear people all the time that say, nah, bruz, just lie, then you'll get in, you'll slide in. But really, if that's happening, most of the time, those people, it's not this foot in the door scenario, it's usually a dead-end job. And if you're in a dead-end job, you get soul crush. And when you get soul crush, you don't have the energy to pursue passions and things that will move you up further in life. Honestly, my advice to everybody is just go on the dole and start a business. That's my advice. And look, the government even is trying to encourage that. If you're on the dole, they'll give you all these business grants and people sitting there giving you business strategies. People that have graduated from Macquarie University in business strategy management go, you want my advice? I think that you should start that second-hand car business. But assuming that you really want to be an employee in somewhere, just know that most of the time, the only way that they're ever going to employ you is that if you're so good that you're just way above and beyond the other candidates anyway, and they already had you in mind. That's usually what happens. Then you've got those new recruit jobs, and obviously the job market is a lot more complicated than what I'm making it out of it. But just assume that what I said makes perfect sense and there's no exceptions. And press the like button. But yeah, so that's the reason that you shouldn't be lying on the resume. But the other thing is that what you want to be doing is trying to weed out the habit of lying. And I understand that every human being lies. And a lot of the time, they kind of just do it unconsciously. A lot of the time, I will just be saying in day-to-day conversation, because it's just a little known secret, right? Everybody lies. You know, I think that if, I can't even remember the stat now, but I think it's like the average human being lies 15 times a day. And most of those lies are just subconscious. They kind of just say it. So somebody says, did you put your shoes on? And you just, are you putting your shoes on? And you just say, yes! And you're not putting your shoes on at that moment. Just those things. But what happens is, it starts attacking your character. It starts eroding trust in other people when they catch you out. And the other thing is, this isn't everybody. I think I'm personally quite a gullible person, but some other people are not. Some people are really good at telling when other people are lying and not. Usually people that are as we talked about, high in estrogen. That's usually why your mum is like, nah, something's up. I am sick. They usually don't, right? But, yeah, those people start to suspect that you're not trustworthy. The other thing that starts happening is because if you start lying, you start getting like little inconsistencies in your story, and then people just start to piece it together after a while. What you want to be doing in every scenario is trying to be as truthful as you possibly can. And as Jordan Peterson always says, if you don't know what the truth is, you at least know what isn't a lie. So you should be aiming for that. Now, obviously I'm not perfect. And it's a lot easier for me because I am a comedian and my whole job relies on telling the truth. If I don't tell the truth, or my truth, this is the other thing that's very subjective about this. A fact is a fact, right? When it comes to truth, this is this constant debate that you always hear of, there is the truth, not a truth, and then you hear those really lame lines on Oprah like, this is my truth. I actually do agree with the Oprah one, man. And I'm going to have a really, as is becoming a trend here, just, I hate this, I hate it when YouTubers do this, but I don't know, it's here, I'm doing it. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I agree with Oprah Winfrey's kind of, my truth. Because I do think that the truth is somewhat subjective. But, as JP points out, you're telling a lie. You can feel it in your physiology, in your body, and it makes you weaker. That does happen. You know that feeling where you just really don't want to get caught out when you lie? And you got that, yes. It actually is just a better feeling in most scenarios to just be telling the truth. You know what all successful relationships are based off? Truth. The reason that Russians are so curt, I used to always think this when I was a model, it was like, you know, just back then. See that you hear this with former models all the time. They always, every time they ever mention it, they always have this, when I was a model. It starts getting a bit cringy the older you get. But still, I don't know, those were some pretty good parties. I sniffed a lot of coke off a lot of asses. But, yeah, so when you are in those situations where you're lying, it starts having a tally on your character. And the thing is that it has a tally on your character both internally and externally. Because you start going to it as a tool that you use. And the thing that I think that switches it around is that you understand that the truth is actually a better tool. But on top of that, look, I'm not going to judge you when you lie. I understand that this is just part of the human condition to lie. It's everybody does it all the time, but I'm just making the case for why you should try and weed it out. So when we go into relationships, which I was literally doing before, I have dementia. Anyway, when you are making the case for lying in a relationship, relationships where there is cheating that happens, where the relationship starts to break down, that is because, and this is what all the relationship books will tell you, is because the relationship has not been founded on the truth. And when I say that, especially, usually what it means is that one of the partners or both the partners are hiding truth. It's not so much that they're lying to each other, it's that they don't want to have uncomfortable conversations. But if people who have been in long-term relationships can attest, you know what makes you feel way better? Having the uncomfortable conversation. It's like vomiting. Just that first like, that feels horrible. But then even 2 seconds into it, hey, you should candy Nash. That's what happens. When you have those uncomfortable conversations, maybe you have to have 10, 20, maybe you have to have 30 of those uncomfortable conversations, but essentially what will happen is that the issue will get resolved. And even if it gets resolved and it leads to a breakup in the relationship, you have prolonged yourself years of quiet suffering. You have stopped that. And as a result, you have all of this energy that you can be focusing on for the rest of your life, as can the other person. In every scenario, telling the truth is always going to be better than lying. When it comes to the climate, just people peddling out all this bullshit that it's fine, or, you know, we are going to meet our 2020 targets, that is going to have a long-term trajectory of bad times, man, for the rest of society and the rest of humanity and the ecology of the rest of the world. And it is because in that little gap where we could have been telling the truth, there was people spending billions of dollars, probably at this point trillions of dollars in propaganda, if you start from the 80s to now, in lying to the population about the urgency of it, or even the reality of it. In every scenario, even when it starts getting into those low little things, that's why I'm saying, you probably shouldn't lie in your resume. I'm just saying that as an example. If you do it, look, whatever, you do you. But I'm saying that if you at that point you consciously know that you are telling a lie. So first of all, that is going to make you feel nervous. It is also going to make you, the act of it like more ingrained in your mind. So when you are just going about your day-to-day life, you'll think, oh, I'll just lie out of this situation because it's easier. I'll just lie out of this situation because it's easier. Well, I just cheated. I'll just lie and say that I didn't. See, it just starts building up. Do you see? Do you see? Jesus. You're watching Friendly Geordie's Happy Harold crossover. But that is how you should be thinking about it. Is that, first off, the lie probably won't get you the job in the first place. If it does get you lie, there's a good chance that it is going to, at least to the person that was making that and see that you were lying on your resume, they're going to be looking down on you when you are finally exposed, which you probably will. And then the third thing about it is that if you lied to get into the job and nobody noticed that you're not competent enough to get the job, that means that that is a dead-end job. So is it worth it in the end? Isn't it worth just putting in the hard yards and working really hard to, build a business on your own outright? I always think that is the best way to do it. Obviously, I'm biased in this way, but I think that you should be aiming in life to be an entrepreneur. But anyway, that is what happened with Friendly Geordies as well. There was a point, it wasn't necessarily that I was lying, but it was that I was kind of like hiding certain opinions from the public. You know what happened when I just said those opinions? People were just like mad, and they shared really well because everybody had those internal opinions. It's just that nobody said it publicly, so that everybody was kind of just holding it in themselves. It's kind of just this release. It is a cathartic act telling the truth. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But as a comedian, you are incentivized to tell the truth, and so I'm just telling you the advantages of doing it. That's my advice on should you lie in your resume or not. Anyway, like the video. Can somebody give me a less specific question than that? Something that's going to do well? Just give me a list of Ask Reddit shit that's done well in the past and I'll do that. But I bet you all of that is, I've just killed someone. Should I put away the body? I fucked my sister. Should I keep going? But anyway, just give me questions. You know the drill. You know the drill. Don't fucking hold out on me.